Hey y'all, welcome back for another episode. So just sending out good energy today, just have to be in positive energy, just positive, like a mindset, everything, emotions, everything has to be positive today, okay? Positive, positive, positive. So, yeah, today, with me, everything comes back to God, okay? Everything. It has to come back to Him because He is everything. But today we're going to talk about inner child healing and childhood trauma healing, the difference in the two. Because if we be honest and really think about it, you would think that it's the same, like it's all one and the same, right? But inner child is the subconscious. It's the things that are buried yet programmed within us. And childhood trauma is the things that we see, so it makes us act and think a certain way because of what we have seen. It's like the patterns. Sometimes you become the complete opposite of the patterns that you saw, and then sometimes you become the exact same. You know what I mean? So it's important that we know the difference so that we can address both issues when they need to be addressed, period. I'm not going to say at the same time, but you'll know the difference of what you're addressing. Now, it's important to heal because healing comes from God, like the real, genuine, the healing of understanding, peace, love, light. And it sometimes, the flesh tries to battle with it, but it's like there's something within you that's pushing you and telling you, listen, God got you. God got you. So it's like a different type of love that you're yearning for, right? So it's like allowing yourself to heal. But like I said, we have to know that we have to heal in all areas. So it was important for, me to come with this podcast because I didn't understand the difference for so long. See, inner childhood is the things that happen like to you, or around you, and you just bury it in your subconscious. Like, it's the things that you won't even remember sometimes, but it becomes a pattern to you. And you're wondering, why am I like this? Why? And it's a pattern, and it's crazy because you'll see some parents, every parent loves and parents different. Every single one of them. So that's why everybody is so unique and so different, because of the different types of love that they've received and the levels of love that they've received, the levels of attention. And because a lot of us, speaking for myself, I was told about God, but I wasn't really taught Him. Like, He was, I won't say He was introduced to my life, but it was like He was there, but it was never an understanding of how do I come to Him. When you're young, you're just like, okay, they're making us go to church. It's like I needed that yearning feeling. So now that I have this yearning feeling for Him, it's because I knew I had to run to Him to heal me. He's a true healer. And when you sit down and you start addressing issues within yourself and the patterns that you have picked up and you don't understand why you picked them up, it'll all make sense. But inner child healing, like I said, it's the things that happen to you that you don't even remember. Sometimes you don't remember. And it's like, it's just programmed within you. And you can't get rid of those patterns until you realize, hey, this is a pattern that's not good. I shut down when people are trying to communicate to me, or I don't really want to be a social person, or I want to be liked by so many people. And that sometimes that goes back to things that happen to you, that happened to us when we were kids. Sometimes maybe we, it was more kids than the amount that one person could handle, and it was like, so somebody's going to feel left out. I'm going to be honest. We have to be honest, because I come from, my mom had 7 kids, and it's not that I was the one who felt it bad. I'm not going to say that, but I'm just saying, you're going to see it. Somebody's going to be put on a job here. Somebody's going to be put on a job there. Do this, do that. Now somebody's going to feel off. Somebody's going to feel off until they're in those shoes and they realize just how much the job takes. But that's what I'm saying. Until you really go within and you see why your parents were how they were, you see how hard life can be sometimes, you start wondering like, what do I need to do to change this? And sometimes we don't even see it until it's in our face. Like, we'll be in a relationship, or we'll have a friendship, and we'll allow things to happen and happen and happen. And then once you like learn the lesson, you sit back and you be like, wow, this is a pattern that I have. You're just letting this happen, letting that happen to yourself. Like, protect yourself. You know, the best protection comes from God. When you are isolated, because this is what, when you go to heal your inner child, and you go to heal trauma, you're going to be isolated, because when you pray to get over things, you have to know God is going to separate you so you can hear him clearly. He's going to separate you. So be ready for it. You know, you're going to start seeing things, and you're going to start feeling things, and you're going to start knowing before it happens. And it's like, on this healing journey, you start to evolve into the person you were birthed to be. It's like you're deprogramming it. All the trauma, all the hurt, all the anger, you're taking it out. And you're making room for love, for peace, for understanding, you know, for compassion, for growth, for blessings. You know, you make room for faith. You trust God on the journey. So that's the beauty in healing, is because you're letting go of things. If you don't address it, you're holding on to it. Like I said, and a lot of things in the subconscious, so it's like we don't even know if we're not paying attention, because life is happening so fast. It's just like coming at everybody, and it's like, wait, if you need time, talk to God. If you need God to slow some things down for you, talk to him. Now, it may not happen in the way that you want it to happen, but know one thing, God gonna come through with the come through. He gonna give you time to get your mind right. Because that's what he wants for us. He wants us to be happy. He wants us to love him and trust him and have the life that he called for us to be at birth. But a lot of us are hurting. A lot of us are broken. A lot of us are empty. A lot of us are lost. And it's like, healing starts with God. Healing starts with praying. And healing starts with being honest about things. Who better to address it with than God? You know, who better to cry out to than God? Now, childhood trauma, that's another situation, okay? Childhood trauma is the things that happen to you when you're around and you remember it. So now it has become either a good a good trait or a bad trait. I'll say a pattern too, because things tend to be generational until somebody comes in and say, that's enough. You know, that's enough. We need to try another route. This isn't working. This isn't working. Okay, I seen this happen with my mom and my mom's mom and my mom's mom. No. And that's what happened when you heal. Is like I said, you're pulling out things that's holding on to you, and you're addressing things that needs to be addressed. So now you're making room. You're becoming like bigger and lighter in God. You know, you're trusting God. Like, it's the prayer. It's the prayer when you're healing. Like, because there are going to be days where you want to break down, but you know you got to pray and push through. There's going to be moments where you're weak, and God's going to send that angel. He's going to send that person to tell you, hey, you got this. You got this. So that's the beauty in healing, is because everything comes full circle to God. It always spins the block back to God. I know, and this is like kind of going a little off topic, but it's not. I know that I picked up certain traits and things like that from what I saw as a young person. I remember saying, you know, not that my mom is a bad person. No, we're not going to do that. But I seen her go through things. Actually, she's a great person. But I saw her go through things that she shouldn't, you know, she didn't deserve, put it like that. But everything happens for a reason, right? Everything. And it seems so crazy because as her only daughter out of 7 kids, it was like this program thing in my head. Like, I wanted my family to be together because my mom, I watched my mom be hurt so many times. I was like, well, if I'm with this person, we're going to go through whatever together. I'm not perfect, you're not perfect, but let's, I'm gonna pray to God about it. I'm gonna keep trusting, I'm gonna keep believing. I was so focused on not being my mom that I had become my mom. And not in a bad way, but it was just a pattern. It was certain patterns that were too much, and I knew that I couldn't bear for my child to witness those same patterns. I had to be the change before it struck my child and my kids' kids and my kids' kids. I had to go to God. I had to pray to Him. I had to trust Him. I had to believe Him. And I lost sight down the way. I lost sight, and I drifted to some different things. Like I had drifted into tarot cards and things like that. And no disrespect to people who to the ladies or men who read tarot cards. No disrespect. It's always love, okay? I don't judge anybody. But the thing is, it was like that wasn't for me. I didn't need. God was like, you don't need the extra with me. Everybody's different. I need you to understand that you don't need that extra with me. Get back to your God. Get back to me. And when I got back with Him, it was like things started changing in my life. I started changing. I started addressing things like from my childhood, things that like haunted me days, things that traumatized me and made me move certain ways, made me speak a certain way. And now that I'm healing and I'm evolving and I'm learning, it's like I'm not even mad at anybody in my childhood that did me wrong or moved different or anything, because I understand the patterns. I understand trauma. I understand how deep it really goes. I understand why life is how it is for a lot of us. Because a lot of us are afraid to stand up and say, enough is enough. It's scary sometimes. But with God, I knew it was possible. I knew it was possible. Listen, it's just this little feeling. Even now, it's like, I know it's possible with God. Don't tell me it's not. Listen, it may not go how I want to every second, but God is like showing up and showing out. That's why it's important to make room. Stand up. Be brave. God got us. He just wants us to trust Him. And sometimes it is scary when you're in a situation that you've never been in before. But when you start thinking about the greatness of God and the protection thus far and the love thus far, regardless of what's going on the outside, God got me. Like, God got me. So that's why I think healing is so important. That's why I believe we got to get back to God, and we got to get back to making room, and we got to get back to forgiving, and we got to get back to loving, and we have to get back to understanding and showing compassion. It's important. God is love. And love is like the greatest thing on earth. Love. Everybody was placed here to be loved. That's why it's so important to go ahead and address that hurt. Go ahead and address that trauma. Because you're already forgiven. Your sins have already been forgiven. But you gotta ask for it. We have to ask for it. I had to ask for it. I had to have that conversation with God about things that I felt bad about and things that I regretted and things that I know created, domino effects in my life. Time and time again, I had to go to God and really ask for forgiveness. Not knowing Jesus already died for my, not understanding and comprehending it on the level that I understand and comprehend it now. God already had forgiven me. He was just waiting on me to say, God, this is me. I'm broken. I don't understand. And that's what inner childhood healing is. It's just simply going to God and saying, this happened, God. I know you know this happened. We might want to know why, but that's not the thing that you're going to find out. You're going to find out why, but you're going to find out how strong you really are and how everything had to happen for you to be the person you are today, and how everything that has happened is your testimony. Things that happen to you forms your purpose. A lot of people, how do I find my purpose? Because I was there. Like, what is my purpose? That testimony that you've been through, that things that you've been through, those tests and trials as we consider it, that's truly your testimony at the end of the day, and lessons in life. Yeah. That's the whole thing of it. You're finally addressing some things, and it's like, once you start with one thing and then you go to the next and you go to the next, it's like a step stool. Like I can heal it, I can address it, I can cry about it, and I can let this go. For me, for my salvation, for my happiness, for my love, for my peace. So yeah, y'all, I just had to come and drop some info on inner child healing and childhood trauma, and the things that we need to, as a whole, just be honest about. Because when you're healed, you love different. You think different, you move different, you want different, you understand, you become compassionate to everything because you know that God is within everything. It's not an easy journey, okay? It's not. There's days where I cry, and then I have to realize, what are you even crying for? Pick your head up. God got you. And I just come to encourage somebody to understand that God got us on this journey, and we have to just trust Him and be willing to do the work for what we're praying for. And what I mean is, address what's hurting you. Address what is bothering you. Talk to God. Let it out. You deserve to be healed in 2022 and so forth. Because when you heal, everything behind you heals. When you heal, you clean your bloodline. Everything that come behind you is of healed bloodline. Understanding, compassion, love. You done let God in. Y'all, I love y'all so much. Y'all have a great evening. I'm sending y'all nothing but love and light, positivity. But yeah, your girl is out. Good night.